Andrew Billingsley. I'm the project manager for the Preservation Field School on Alcatraz Island. We're out here for our 4th year doing some restoration and preservation work on the rock. We've got a great group of students this year. We have 7 incoming students and 1 returning previous student as a staff member.
I'm Jared Reisman.
I'm Jessica Anderson.
I'm Brandon Saturn.
I'm Seth McIntosh.
Jamie Hill.
I'm Michelle Hola.
Derek Fridley, and I'm a 5th year in the CIM program at Chico State.
We were able to bring Ken Garcia out for his 3rd summer with us. The previous 2 summers he was one of our students, and this year we hired him on as staff to help out with logistics and running the day-to-day operations.
I'm back as a faculty member. My position currently is Assistant Project Engineer under Scott Burkhart and Andrew Billingsley.
My name is Scott Burkhart. I'm a lecturer at California State University, Chico. It's been a real great experience for me, and I think for the students, seeing them go from being in the classroom, which I've had many of them in my classes before, and getting them out here in the real world, being around a project and being responsible and held accountable for a different project and different responsibilities on the job site.
As always with the field school, we like to focus on the learning experience for the students and networking as well. The students were able to meet a lot of industry experts this year and gain insight to their individual industries. They got to interact on a professional and a personal level.
When I first got here, we took a little tour around the island and you could just see everything that was just falling apart. There's so much work that needs to be done out here, and it's something that is so important because it is a national park. And we're all out here and we're talking about in 50 years taking our grandkids out here and showing them what we've done. And it's something that if that doesn't get done, we won't be able to do that. And so it's really nice to have the sponsorship from BASF and people like that.
They've donated all the product that we've been using, and without them that wouldn't be possible to do this, especially with the funding and whatnot and the cost of materials. So it's a great appreciation and great help to us, a great help to the Park Service for their support and their generosity.
Hilti's donated almost every tool we use this year, and we couldn't have got our project done without it. They've spent a lot of money giving us their tools. It's tools that are used on every job site.
We have grinders, chipping hammers, jigsaws. So, I mean, every day we're using that, whether it's woodwork or concrete.
And also we've had structural come out and talk to us. We had Peter Emmons come out and see what we were doing, along with Pat Sparks came out the first week to actually show us the shoring and talk to us about that, and that was a big learning process for us, is figuring out how to shore and what we properly needed.
This year we had 2 extremely generous donations. The first being a 12-yard paddle mixer so that we could mix more material at once on the island, and the second being a portable pump that actually is able to drive itself and able to move around the island to our different project locations. These made logistics a lot easier with larger scaled projects because we're able to pour them all at once without the intense labor of hand mixing in individual buckets.
The mixer's brand new technology, something that isn't even out on the market yet. The serial number on the mixer's 1.
I mean, it's an awesome mixer. Just throw the bags right on top. It's got the bag breaker, and you just fold the bag, all it dumps in, and I mean, everything that we've had donated has been working out great for us.
The pump makes it so nice so we don't have to hand pack our beam, which is up in the air, and our stringers, which are up in the air.
They've taught us how to use it. They helped us set it up, teach us maintenance and how to clean it. And I've never used pumps before, and they really went through and taught us everything about it and how to use it, and it's beneficial for our project this year.
Without that, it's been, that's a lifesaver, and just like everything else, it's an expensive piece of equipment for them to donate for our use out here. We couldn't pump the beams, we couldn't pump anything without that pump, so it's a great generosity for them.
Obviously, all these companies give money for a reason. They don't just here's some tools. I think it's important to show that we're actually using them and that the tools are actually helpful. I mean, for them it's good, like publishing purposes, marketing, and also to give back to this program, because we could be working for them eventually someday.
And there's opportunity for a lot of different companies to sponsor, and get involved with our program and get our students when we're graduated.
Having previously been in the student's shoes as one of the Alcatraz Field School members, I know how valuable the personal interaction with these experts can be as you move on in your career. So this year's field school projects included a staircase leading to the upper story of the schoolhouse that needed tread and riser repairs, as well as both stringers repaired. We were also working on a beam on the lower level of the schoolhouse that needed about 4 inches of replacement along the lower section.
And our third project is the historic rails that lead from the rec yard to the new industries building where the prisoners used to work.
Taking out all the delaminations and all the corroded concrete, and we're exposing the rebar and putting corrosion inhibitor on it to make sure the rebar doesn't rust. And we're going to put in a new footing. We're going to make forms and hand pack the railing up all the way up the stairs. It's been great. After learning everything in class, I get to actually do hands-on learning on everything and jump around from project to project. You really get involved in everything you do.
Well, I think it's, I mean, this program started like 4 years ago, and I think it gradually has gotten bigger and bigger. I mean, the first year they did kind of a smaller project, and it was kind of just testing and getting the program running, and now we're all over the island.
Considering I had never worked on a job site before I got here, everything was completely brand new to me. So working on the project, I've learned so much. I've never been in an area where I've learned as much as I have.
This has been a really in-depth summer. I think it's some of the challenges that we've taken on has been maybe the most complex that we've had the ability to do. The form and pour is something that we're pumping under pressure, so they go all through the demo equipment just like if you were in a company, and then we jump into the pouring equipment, and they have full hands-on experience of not only how to run those and operate those correctly, but also how to clean them out and make sure that we can use them again for the future.
It's great preparation, especially they focus a lot on the management part, and they want us to do all the talking to all the patrons, and they want us to really get involved. We get first-hand experience, and we get that field experience, and we don't have to just sit in the classroom all the time. It's actual work, and we get to work on stuff like this that other people will be able to see, and we get to say, we did that, I made that.
Not only are we helping preserve the island, we're also learning as we're doing it, and it's something really good to learn and do and push into the concrete industry.
As always, working on the island, there are a lot of logistical constraints. You have to deal with finding power, fresh water, you have visitors constantly around your work area, and a lot of restraints that the students have really had to deal with, and they've done an amazing job overcoming them.
What we've tried to do here on Alcatraz is really form this field school as much like a construction company or a company that would be in the field. Each of the students were divided into groups. They're working with individuals that they maybe have never met before. They have management roles. The remainder of the students for that project are all their working crews, and they basically are responsible, and there's a hierarchy to it, and there's accountability throughout the ranks of what things need to get done. We're getting them to start thinking into the future, and that's one of the big challenges is they're not thinking day to day anymore. They're really trying to plan and schedule, and we let them have a little bit of insight into the logistics of getting materials out to the island, as well as the logistics of working people around and getting people to do the things that they need to get done in a timely order.
With having 7 students this year, we're able to break into 2 groups to work on each project individually. The interior beam project, as well as the exterior treads, risers and stringer repair. The students are working on project binders to complete for the Park Service that include things looking through the logistics of each project site, the staging and the phases of the work, as well as dealing with those logistical issues that they've had to overcome.
Being able to work around the public and the strict constraints we have on the island as far as materials and when we can get things out here and having to deal with those type of things, I believe an employer would definitely appreciate your ability to overcome such huge obstacles.
The technical side, I mean, going back to the tools with all the experience, I've learned how to handle all those tools. I've learned how to map and plan beforehand, before the project, on the background side and on the side that we're actually doing with the structure.
It's a big thing for employers to look at future employees that have done this field school, because first of all, you've done all the hands-on stuff that you learn in the classroom. It's basically every class put into one, and you've done everything from, like, I've done the PR side of it, I've seen the management side done, I've seen the financial side done. So coming out of it, you feel like you've already managed a whole project.
Yeah, you get to try everything, and it just gives you a better idea of what you're talking about to people. In the future, you'll be more of a supervisor coming out of this program.
I really gained knowledge in the whole aspect of what a job site is and what it contains. So I didn't really think I'd go into all of it, but I've been in planning. I've talked to Andrew and Ken about some of the things behind the scenes that has to go on, really the full mental capacity it takes to run a site, not just the pour and the decorative aspect, but behind the scenes, getting things ready, how to get things on the island. I really learned, I think that's what I learned the most about this summer.
We're going to have a little bit of an issue with wind, so if it does get too bad here, we need to stop the visitors from walking by. The most that I provide, I think, is attempting to get them to be their own quality control, and I really enjoy getting the chance to let them become the managers. It's, you know, starting from week one when they're asking 1,000 questions and never quite sure of themselves to now this point them telling me what to do. It's been a really great experience.
And you want to have somebody start making the little slabs, little plywood slabs, clamps spot?
Working in a small group or even large groups has always got its issues, and everybody has to learn how to click and bind together. And it's just like any other group, you know, it just has to happen, and you make it happen, and it usually turns out pretty well.
It's really nice for me, even though I'm safety officer. I mean, I've been working a lot with demolition. I've been working a lot with like forming and woodwork, and so just because your title is safety officer doesn't mean you're necessarily doing that the whole time. And a small group allows you to do that. So we have 7 or 8 of us here, and we all get to rotate doing the power tools. We all get to do, I mean, every aspect of the job. Everyone's doing a part of it. It basically takes all my knowledge that I learned throughout the past 4 years and combines it all in one. I'm doing management. I'm doing hands-on, like technical work. I'm also working on safety manuals, so it's all a really good experience for me.
You do get the one-on-one learning stuff from the people who have done it before and the experience from the managers like Andrew and Ken and Scott and everything, and it's a lot. You get really close. Obviously, you're working in a really small group and all that, but you also learn how to work with people that you don't necessarily get along with. It's something you're going to encounter in the normal workplace, like when you go out into the real world.
I did an internship last summer with Tyker Ready Mix, and that kind of got me in a corporate aspect, and now this is more like a being on a project. So I'd say the field school has gone really well. Team bonding experience especially is really important.
And so it's kind of neat. We're trying to make it blend in as best possible until the actual, growth can come back on.
Tanya's fantastic. If us as managers we're looking, weeks or months into the future, she's looking a year into the future and looking and making sure that we're all continuously being placed in the right areas and pushing our students to obtain a better education, not only in the classroom but also out here on Alcatraz on the job site.
Tanya is the conductor of this program, the train, I guess you could say it, and she just keeps it on a straight track to great places for Park Service, for us, for students, for all the generations to come.
You see her out here bringing these huge company sponsors. There's all these guys coming in, they're presidents and head supervisors of these companies, and so to be able to meet them and get their advice on things.
Yeah, Tanya's amazing. Technically none of this would be possible without her, and she does bring a lot of people out to the island. We've gotten to meet a lot of important people in the industry, and I wouldn't be here without her. She's the one that encouraged me to come here.
The managers of Scott and Ken and Andrew, they're really helpful in like hands-on things, like one-on-one lessons on how to finish the concrete or how to use the pump or the mixer, and they're all pretty experienced in this, and so it's definitely helpful. And it's not like they're just telling us like, oh, go do that. It's more like they show us how to do it, and then they trust us enough to let us go do it ourselves.
They're not just our bosses, they're here to teach us each and every step of the way, which has been a huge thing for me, considering I came in knowing nothing, and now I feel like way more than any other person that's going into the one-on-one class is going to know.
Continuous stewardship is something that we've been trying to work with, and Jason Hagen kind of came up with that idea of continuous stewardship, is that we're out here on the island continuously. We're here, we have a presence here, and if there's things that need to get done, we can all not only be here to do that, the little things that they don't have to contract out or aren't able to contract out for, like these steps that we're doing here, or the interior beam that we're doing here. We're able to take those projects on, and the public can get back in there and actually have access to those areas.
you can tell that the National Park Service really cares about maintaining the quality of what is in place right now, and that whatever work that we're doing, it stays historic. And even if it's new concrete that we're putting in, like, everything remains, at least looks like it was there before. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of that.
I'm hoping to come back and see our project still there, perfectly fine, preserved, and seeing a bunch of other projects that hopefully the future CIM students continue to do. But just knowing in the back of my mind that I worked on that, it's still standing and visitors are using it, and it's allowing them to enjoy the island more.
So the continuous stewardship is a really important part of what we're doing out here actively, is being a part of the Park Service, being a good partner, and continuing to allow the visitors to use the areas that are available to them.
The things that make the Field School the greatest experience for the students is, one, the leadership of the Preservation Field School with Tanya Comas, Andrew Billingsley, Scott Burkhart, along with all the donations and support that we have from the concrete industry. And the best part about having all that support is it also gives the volunteers / students a type of drive to get things done and also do the best that they can with the little knowledge that they have, because we're all very eager to learn.
You know, it's a great opportunity. You meet new people, new friends. It's a great opportunity as far as the coming to from work on the ferry. It's relaxing both directions. The housing situation is great. You know, being out on the beach and you get to work every day and see your work that you've done and knowing that you're preserving a little bit of history. And as far as the island goes, I grew up right across the bay, and I've always seen it. And you don't really take in the fact that, you know, everything you get to see and do out here, and you're actually preserving history for, like, my kids and grandkids to see. And it's an awesome experience.
Everything kind of leads to the next step, to what we're going to learn next. So it all goes in a line. It's all mapped out. I've learned a bunch of stuff here that I've never thought of learning, a bunch of tools that I've never experienced, and that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't here.
I had fun out here. It was a blast. I met a lot of new friends and people I'll be friends with throughout my whole career, a lot of good connections.
The Field School to me is, well, I'm a senior right now, and I'd say that it's really cool seeing everything that I learned from the 101 class to decorative and repair, taking all that knowledge and putting it into what we're doing right now. And so I'd say that I like that aspect of it, because I feel like I know a lot more about what we're doing, and I can be confident in the projects that we're working on. And as far as working on a national landmark, it's awesome being out here. It's good view every day, and helping restore one of the most famous landmarks in California, if not the U.S.
It's been the best experience I've ever had. It's an awesome experience because you're doing everything you learn in the classroom hands-on, and you follow it every step of the way, exactly how it would go on a normal project, just maybe a little bit slower. But there's really no other experience you can get.
I think the Field School in Alcatraz it's just a great opportunity. It was for me, at least. It's like you get the hands-on experience of actually doing this work. It's not in a lab, so you're not just making little mock-ups. You're actually making something. It's an actual repair. It needs to look good. It needs to last. You know, there's definite considerations involved in that. And learning all of this and working with the tools and everything, it's been a great experience for me. I've learned a lot.
The Field School has just been the greatest learning experience that I can get outside of the classroom, between our form breaking, and now I know what to do if something like that ever happens again, and everyone staying calm, and I would not expect that in a normal situation. And everyone out here has just been amazing to work with, just a great group of people. And it builds relationships between all of us, being in such a small program too.
The future of the Field School is, I think, already apparent in the past participants. We have 22 or so students that are out in industry now that have gone through this program. We are really excited to continue to progress the program, grow the program in the future, and really allow and enable more students to come out here and get this experience, the experience of being on the island, taking the boat out in the morning, the fog rolling over Alcatraz. And then, you know, the hard work and the camaraderie and the going home tired kind of mentality. You won't get that in the classroom, but you get it out here. And there's, I think, friendships that get made. And it's kind of a group that's going to forever be able to remember Alcatraz.